Hello and welcome to the Indie Beginning Podcast, Episode 8, Using Family History in Your Fiction Writing. Today's conversation is being fueled by our friends over at Burial Grounds Coffee Company. Head over to burialgrounds.coffee and grab a bag of one of their specialty flavors after the show. Get a bag of Death Star, too, for those days you want a regular cup of joe. Last week, we introduced listeners to the indie tale Fred's Funeral by Sandy Day, where we followed the ghost of a World War II veteran, Fred Sadler, as he witnesses for the first time how his family truly remembers him. It is not the man that Fred remembers, but does Fred truly remember who he was? If you haven't read the book or missed last week's episode, I recommend listening to Episode 7 or picking up a copy of Fred's Funeral on Amazon. Remember to subscribe to the show on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. We can also be found on your favorite social media platform and at acnbooks.com/indiebeginning. Bonus note, Sandy Day is not the only artist in the Day family. Music in this episode was written and performed by her nephew Blake Day. Stay tuned after the show to learn where you can find more of his music. In a moment, we will learn how reviewers reacted to Sandy Day's lovely yet sad story, and also her thoughts on using her great-uncle Fred as the main character. Last week we introduced the readers to Fred's Funeral by Sandy Day. What did you think, Marie?
I actually really enjoyed it. It was a unique point of view, being both the person attending a funeral and the person that a funeral's about. It was a nice perspective.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the imagery that Sandy created with her writing. More so, I like the subject matter. I think that everyone has thought about their own funeral at one point or another. In fact, I created a couple polls on our social media accounts because I wondered if people were given the chance, would they want to witness how their friends and family remembered them? 62% of people responded yes, 27% responded no, and 11% said that it depends on the person. What about you, Marie? Would you want to know?
I'm kind of torn between yes and no. I would want to know because I'm a curious person by nature, but after I'm dead, there's nothing that I can do about it, so I really wouldn't care.
See, I'm with the 11% there. I think it depends on the person. I am not the same person I was years ago. So, yeah, some people probably have a different recollection of me than I would like.
Let's look at some of the reviews for Fred's Funeral.
Okay. Robbie on Goodreads said that it was a well-penned story of a man's struggle to overcome PTSD against the overwhelming prejudice and misunderstanding of the time, as well as the horrific treatments imposed on mental patients in hospitals. Terry on Goodreads said, "The book is so readable and well written, and I enjoyed how the story built up, not only in Fred's life, but from the sociological history point of view. It's interesting, if frustrating, from the point of view of family wrangles, and builds such a tragic picture of the poor men caught up in the pointless carnage of World War I. I really liked it."
Noelle on Amazon said, "What I particularly liked about this story are the ways different people look at the same events, and the ability to see how his confusion, frustration, and mental breakdown, now so understandable, were met with misunderstanding by his family. Fred desperately wants to gain control of his life, to spend his life in the home and with the family he so values, but can't help pushing them away. The reader can feel his angst and understand his actions, but at the same time, see themselves in the family's shoes. The author does a wonderful job describing family relationships and deep-seated feelings. This is a short but very profound read."
I was wondering how people were going to comment of the length of this tale. It's long for a novella and short for a novel, but people didn't seem to mind. I think it has something to do with the beauty of Kindle. Amy on Amazon responded, "Fred's Funeral contains a mere 114 pages, which makes it an ideal weekend read. I was so absorbed in the story that I read it cover to cover in less than 24 hours.
I recently asked Sandy how her family has reacted to the story and the use of her great-uncle Fred, and she said, "I was a little worried about how some members of my family might react to the book. It is fiction, from my imagination, but it is based on my great-uncle's life. The book is my hypothesis of what actually happened to him. No one knows for sure what he experienced in World War I. No one knows for sure what my grandparents or their parents thought or said. I've imagined all that based on my research. So the short answer is, to date, I'm relieved to have received nothing but very positive feedback from my extended family. Many have expressed the opinion that they are very glad our poor old uncle story has been told."
We also asked Sandy what advice did she have for writers in regards to using family history to create a story. She said, I'm a believer in what Anne Lamott had to say about this. You own everything that happened to you. Tell your stories. If people wanted you to write warmly about them, they should have behaved better. My advice, your experience, which includes listening to stories people have told you, is yours. Write what seems to be true to you. A very long time ago, I was taking a creative writing class with the late great Canadian poet B.P. Nichol. I told him I didn't know what to write about. He said to me, "Write what you can't stop thinking about." That has been pretty significant for me ever since. And write every day. That is crucial. For more information on where Sandy got her inspiration for Fred, check out the recent articles she did for PictPublishing.com. Just type her name in their website search bar. Purchase your copy of Fred's Funeral on Amazon. This episode was made possible by Burial Grounds Coffee Company. All reviews were taken from Amazon, Goodreads, or acmbooks.com. Head there to read them in full. Music in this episode was written and performed by Blake Day and is titled Really Down. You can find more of Blake's music at soundcloud.com/beatsbyday1. Please take a moment to rate and review our show on your favorite podcast platform. Reviews are such an important part of the growth of any project. I'm your host, Benjamin Frankie, asking everyone to read more books, be the best possible you, and simply enjoy this wonderful life. Thanks for listening.